welcome to this yoga quickie for rooting the pelvis. For today, we'll start with our legs long. Take your hands and send the flesh away from the sit bones so that you can feel them root down into the floor. This is our key focus for today. Feeling those sit bones ground down so that we can lift up and lengthen through the spine. Tuck that chin in slightly. Feel more length through the back of the neck. Let the fingertips release beside you, maybe a little bit behind the hips. Send the shoulders to stack over the hips. Plug in through the heels, point the toes up, stack them directly over the heels. You can choose whether you'd like the legs to stay together or have them hip-width apart. And I'll be offering the sequence without props today, but know that if you need something underneath the seat to help you find more space through the hips, you're welcome to take that, whether that be a block, a bolster, a blanket. Go exploring there if you need to. We inhale, send the chest up. Exhale, feel the fingertips root down. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale to settle. Breathing in and out through the nose, trying to match the inhales and exhales in their length. Settling into the body, notice if the shoulders are shrugging up towards the ears. Perhaps take a few rolls. Focusing on the hips today, so keep the shoulders and neck as soft as you can as we move through this sequence. Take the right foot down to the floor. Keep the left leg long. Guide the right heel over top of the left thigh, just above the knee. And then you can use your right hand to press the knee down. This is our first variation of this pose. Stay here, or take the left sole of the foot down to the floor. Adjust your seat, adjust your hands so that you still feel long through the spine and supported through the base. Then send the toes to tuck up towards the knee. If your leg is straight, you want to do the same thing. Knee moves away from the chest. Chest keeps lifting up, spread through the collarbones. Taking a seated figure 4. And our third variation for today, we sweep the inner elbow of the left arm around the foot. We take the right inner elbow around the right knee. Clasp through the hands. Draw the entire leg in towards the chest as we lift the chest up. So if we're rounding through the back, then please move into this variation. We want to focus on lengthening through the spine. Maybe the left leg comes long. Inhale to lift. Exhale to squeeze in. Take 2 more. Check in with the interlacing of your hands and notice which finger is in front of the other. And exhale. Drop the right foot down slowly. Let the foot settle to the outside of your left leg. So if the knee was bent, straighten it. Plug the left heel into the floor. Keep those toes stacking over top of the heel. Sweep your right fingertips behind you. Bringing them in line with the base of the spine, the sacrum. And then take the inner elbow of the left arm and let your hand rest on the outer thigh. Press down through both sit bones, lift up through the top of the head. As you exhale, open into a twist. And notice that I'm maintaining that length and I'm not dumping through the shoulders. The shoulders have lots of space between the ears. And that left heel keeps kicking forward. Check in with the seat. Make sure both sit bones are rooting to the floor. Feel that counteraction of rooting to rise. And hug the hip bones towards one another to guide your way into the twist. Maybe the gaze looks over the right shoulder. One more inhale to lengthen. And exhale to twist. Keep the twist, just turn the gaze over the left shoulder. Walk the fingertips all the way to center. And then come into a counter twist. Right hand in front of the right foot, left hand comes back. Press down to lift up. And exhale to hold. Stay here for one more breath. Gaze looks forward. Walk the hands back to center. Option 1, knee stays lifted, sole of foot stays down into the floor. You can keep the legs straight, or you can bring the heel in towards the hip. Or we move into cow face, Gomukhasana with the legs. The right knee stacks on top of the left. The right heel plugs in towards the hip. Leg can stay straight, or for the full variation, we bend. Take your thumbs in towards your hip creases, press down. Both sit bones should be rooting to the floor, so if you don't feel that, then straighten the bottom leg, maybe add some props underneath the sit bones. Use the fingertips to guide the shoulders to stack over top of the hips. Maintain that length through the back of the neck, settle the shoulders down. Stay tall, or we fold forward. Walk the fingertips all the way down. Send the belly in towards the thighs. Keep pressing the thighs down into the floor and squeezing the thighs towards one another. Soften through the toes. Let the outer edges of the feet rest against the floor. Send the top of your head away from the sit bones. Keep rooting down through the seat. Perhaps the head lets go and the eyes close. And notice where your mind is. See if you can set an intention of non-attachment where you explore and observe your thoughts without clinging on to. And notice by framing this intention that it's a little bit easier to let them flow in and out, to create more space for new thoughts to arrive. Explore the sensations in your body on this side without anticipating what is to come. If you're down, fingertips walk you up. Bring our hands behind us. And we reach the right leg all the way out to the side. Bring the left sole of the foot in towards the thigh. Root down through right heel, send the toes to stack on top. Use your fingertips to recenter and lift up through the spine. Stay here, or come into a fold, this time folding over the shin. So notice that my body is moving straight forward rather than over the leg. Although remembering I'm a guide, and if you feel like that twisted turn, you're welcome to do that. Plug that right sit bone down into the floor. You might find it's trying to sneak its way up to the sky. Keep hinging through the hips, so stay really stable through the femur bones, those big bones of the thighs. Imagine as though you have a sandbag on your thighs and you're weighing them down completely. By grounding through those bones, we allow more movement through the pelvis. Inhale, walk yourself up. Take your hands behind you. Turn the right foot to come straight out in front. Left ankle crosses over the right thigh. Same sequence, other side. Option 1, right here. Option 2, right sole of the foot comes down to the floor. Hands stay behind you, keep lifting up through the chest. One long line of the spine. Squeeze the hip bones towards one another through the front body so that you're integrating the core and you're keeping that low back safe. If you'd like to come further, wrapping the inner elbows around the front leg. Point the left toes towards the left knee, and then lift the leg off of the thigh. Press the leg into the chest into the leg. Perhaps the right leg comes long. You might enjoy rocking a little bit to center through the seat. Keep using the rootedness of your body on the floor to help lift up through the top of the head, to create more space through the heart center. Check in with the interlacing. Make sure it's the opposite from the other side. If you can't remember, then just take the opposite. The one that feels more awkward is usually where you want to go. Shake out through the shoulders. Notice if you're gripping there. Notice if you're clenching through the jaw. As gracefully as you can, release that left sole of the foot into the floor. Right leg comes straight if it's not already. And we move into our twist. Just kidding, jumping ahead there. Take our left hand behind us. Inhale, send the chest forward as we wrap our elbow around the left knee. Exhale into your twist. Gaze can stay neutral, or gaze can look over the left shoulder. And notice that I'm not dumping or rounding through the spine. Staying long. Keep pressing that right heel away. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Use the arm as a lever. Maybe the back of the arm comes onto the thigh. Inhale, gaze comes forward. Keep the twist. Exhale to curl your way over to the other side, finding a counter twist. Try not to jut the head forward, but keep the ears in line with the shoulders as best you can. And we move our chest to center. Option 1, lift up here. Leg can stay straight or bent. And take the left knee over top of the right if it feels accessible for you today. Knowing you can always add props underneath the seat. Maybe you come into full cow face with the legs. You can use those hands again to pull the flesh away, root down through the seat. The thumbs can press the hip creases and squeeze the inner thighs together. Fingertips come down to the floor. Stay tall or melt forward. Hands stay wide. Root down through the seat and hinge through the hips. Keep plugging those femur bones, those thighs down to the floor. Let them be really stable and take the movement through the abdomen. Using your core to guide you. Soften through the toes. Release the head. Send the base of the skull away from the base of your spine. And tune into your thoughts. Back to that intention of rooting your thoughts in the present moment in order to receive more. Maybe you feel the belly softly compressing the thighs on the inhales. Dropping closer downward on the exhales. Press through your fingertips to rise up. Bring hands behind you. Sweep the left leg up to the side. Right sole of foot comes in towards the thigh. Root down through left heel. Toes press up and away. Then find that imaginary sandbag. Stick it onto your thigh. And maybe you fold forward. Find a balance between the sit bones, particularly through the whole back line of that left leg. Invite the left sit bone down to the floor. Send the head forward and away. Glide the shoulder blades towards one another along the back line of the body. Check in with your breath. See if the inhales and exhales are still matching in length, or if it's shortened, if you've lost it, as you focus on all the alignment cueing. Inhale, fingertips walk up. We turn our hands over the right thigh as we bend into the left knee. Find a 90-degree angle with both legs. So your right thigh is coming parallel to the short edge of the mat, and the shin is parallel to the long edge of the mat. Your left thigh is coming to the opposite side of the mat, parallel to the long edge, and the shin is parallel to the short edge, but hanging out off of your mat. I'm going to offer a twist variation of 90-90 today, but if you'd rather come straight over, you can always fold this way. Try to engage through the toes, point them towards the knee on both sides. Creates more activation through the legs. If you're joining me for the twist, the left hand sweeps all the way over to the right. Right fingertips walk out. So you're trying to square the shoulders as best you can with the short edge of your mat. You can stay tall, or fingertips walk forward. Maybe you come down onto the forearms. And if we're on the forearms, try to find a sphinx sensation through the arms. So let the elbows stack underneath the shoulders, the wrists in line with the elbows. Find a suction cup with your hands as the index fingers point directly forward. Then press down through your forearms, press down through your right sit bone to lift up the torso. And in this variation of the pose, the left sit bone is lifted off the floor. You can always tuck something underneath it if you want to support there. See if you can send the right sit bone over to the right and up towards the sky as you drop the left hip down towards the right inner thigh. And then do the same with the shoulder. So right shoulder lifts out to the right and up towards the sky as you drop the left shoulder down. Press through the forearms to lift up onto your fingers. Walk yourself up. Walk your fingers over the right shin to the left and keep walking. We're going to take a full 360 as we windshield wiper the legs. So drop your right knee to the opposite side, left knee to the opposite side. Just setting up for 90-90 in the opposite direction. So our left thigh comes parallel to short edge, shin parallel to long edge. Find the same variation on the opposite leg. 2 90-degree angles, that's the biggest hint here as you're setting up. Let the fingertips help you root down and rise up. And you can fold forward over the left shin or move into the twist. And take a moment or two tall to engage and open up through the chest. Doing your best to square the chest forward before you lower down. And maybe it's not accessible on this side. We're not symmetrical robots. We are humans. We have dominant sides. We have injuries. We hold tension. And that is normal. So instead of hanging on to those judgments, hanging on to the labels, can we feel into the sensations, allow for those observations, and let them float away so that we can keep our mind on the present moment, on our breath. Integrate the arms. Find suction cup through the hands. Press through forearms to rise up. Root down through the left sit bone. Send the left sit bone out to the left and then lift it up towards the sky. You're not actually lifting it, it's staying on the floor, but that's the sensation you want. So it's a rotation through the pelvis. Drop the right hip down towards the left thigh. It's definitely a lot juicier for me on this side. Keep breathing through the left side body as you expand through the right. And press into the forearms, press into the palms. Fingertips walk up. Walk over the right shin. Keep walking the hands so that the hands come behind you. You can windshield wiper through the legs a couple of times. And then we bring our soles of feet together. As we start to lower down onto our back, let the knees drop wide. Finding a reclined butterfly. Plug the big toe mounds in together. Press the outer edges of the feet into the floor. Drop the knees down. You can add supports underneath the knees if you need something to help you ease through the hips. And bring the hands overhead into a diamond shape. If this causes any tingling or numbness through the arms, just let the hands rest palms face up alongside you. Head stays neutral. Lengthen through the base of the spine, the sacrum of the low back, up towards the top of the head. Flatten the shoulder blades in towards the floor. Hug the low ribs down. Find about a 10% activation of the hip bones coming in towards one another. Close the eyes. And notice the opposition of the back body rooting down to the floor and the front body opening up and receiving. Notice how the more you ground, the more you give in and surrender to the support below you, the easier it is for you to melt into the front body, to soften up, to absorb. Take your hands, the outsides of your thighs. Walk the knees up. Walk the feet out to the edges of your mat. Couple more windshield wipers while lying on your back. And then we'll straighten through the legs. Let the heels come wide, let the palms face up. Root the flats of your shoulder blades into the floor. Maybe find a gentle tuck of the pelvis so that your whole sacrum feels grounded. Still a little bit of a hollow underneath the low back. Lengthen through the back of the neck. And as you just did in butterfly, feel every component of the body that is pressing down into the floor. And try not to resist, but to release completely. And with that strong, supportive, rooted back body, feel the rise and fall of the breath through the front body. Notice the expansiveness and potential as you absorb all of that energy that you have created and expel any congestion, any tension, any thought patterns that have come up in this practice. We often feel pressured to keep doing, to keep moving to the next best thing. Not inviting this opportunity to set a foundation, to really ground ourselves, create a framework for potential and for growth. We can create the space to honor that. We allow for more opportunity, for more depth and awareness. It's kind of like that concept of owning a home. For my friends who love to travel and wander, it's kind of nice to have this foundation of a home to come back to. A sense of rooting, grounding. It almost allows you to wander more because you know that you have something to come back to. There's no question, no doubt. It invites more curiosity, as long as you don't get lost in it. As long as you can find that balance of rising, lifting, exploring with grounding and stability. And stay here for as long as you need to. It's the benefit of a home practice. You can choose when to ease on out. Let's all end with a few breaths together. Taking an inhale to thank yourself for rooting down to be present with the self. And then an inhale, sending gratitude to all of those who help to set your foundation. Even to the simple things like your mat, your home. And clearing breath through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me. From my heart to yours. These videos are made through love and hard work. Your contributions allow me to keep sharing new content with you. If you're able to give back financially, please click the Make a Donation button on the homepage of this channel. You're also welcome to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest video offerings. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Don't be Kona!